Peter Barker, Howard May. Yes, in actual fact, he was at a test match when I played my first game here, my first game for Surrey or so. But I'd met him when he was at Cambridge and I was playing for Army and Combined Services doing national service. And of course, when joining here after national service, he was in the side. Stewie Surridge was captain, Peter was vice captain, and then took over as captain. So I knew him, should we say, from very much from the early 50s.
Now it's Peter May doing his best to stop the rot. England's hopes rise again, for he seems to have the measure of the Aussie bowling.
Peter was the outstanding batsman, and although you mentioned his elegant cover drive, his strongest point was very much on the onside, and a good back foot player, and one that from ball one when he took guard, he was going to be in charge and imposed himself on the bowlers very, very early. Well, it was interesting to see the difference and comparison between Stewie Surridge. He was a very noisy, physically imposing person and was tremendous, you know, and he had huge respect from the lads, including Peter, of course. And then Peter's method of captaining the side, which was much quieter. Between the two of them, I would, you know, Stewie Surridge gave this impression of being a hard taskmaster, but of the two, I would say Peter was the harder when it came to it. Believe it or not, a lot of people find that difficult to understand, but that was the case.
At Cranley's 13th century parish church, it was a cricketing occasion. Peter May came to be married there. The Reverend David Shepherd was among the famous players present. There was almost a test team. Jim Laker came to see the great batsman get hooked. He was followed by Godfrey Evans, and hard on the heels of the wicket-keeper came another star who's often played with Peter, Dennis Compton.
We were all invited to the big wedding, and then we went from there for the first match of the season, where we used to start the season playing Cambridge University at Fenners back then. And believe it or not, he didn't play. We said, how's it you're not playing, Peter? Anyway, he went off on his honeymoon and we went off to play Cambridge University the next day.
One way and another, cricket dominated the romance. For Peter and Virginia first met during a test match at Leeds 8 years ago, when, metaphorically speaking, the batsman bowled the maiden over.
Archer bowling to Peter May. And watch this for a neat piece of fielding. May's making a gallant stand, and Evans is holding his end up well. So all hope isn't dead yet.
He was the English gentleman, definitely, but there have been a bit, as you'd call him, classical Englishmen. But he was very, very competitive. And if anybody was doing the wrong thing, on or off the field, he was very quick to put things right with them. And he reckoned if you were a professional cricketer, you should never drop a skyer. I did point out that everybody's dropped a skyer in their time. But he was a very, very nice person. And as I say, typically that did describe him as an English gentleman, yeah. He was the hero, and there wasn't the coverage as there is now in the TV coverage, and which builds up to celebrity standing. But if he were playing today, he would be right up there as the #1 man, yeah.